Yeah, so let's get started. If you're just joining in, let me know if you know, let me know if you have mutable placements in your chart. The mutable placements or the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So if you know you have mutable placements or mutable energy in your chart, you're definitely going to be feeling this full moon even more. And there's a lot of other things happening around the time of this full moon that I wanted to talk about. I've gotten out of the practice of doing every new and full moon for a lot of different reasons, but this one felt important to talk about and to talk about the bigger themes and things that are happening around this time so that you can work with this energy and have this as a guide to work through December and then into 2024. All them planets in Virgo, says Meredith. Hi, Meredith. Hi, everyone. If you're joining, let me know if you have mutable placements. So any of the planets, or if you're rising or if your midheaven is in any mutable signs. So again, that is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this full moon, and then we're also going to be talking about Saturn over there in Pisces, creating a T-square in the chart for this full moon, and how important that is in the grand scheme of things in terms of this Saturn cycle through Pisces. And if you haven't watched my house by house on Saturn and Pisces, it is so good. So definitely check that out. Sag moon, Gemini sun here. Yes, I'm pulling in all those mutable people that are followers or pay attention to the astrology. So I'm pulling you all in because this is the time we have a little talk about what is going on and how you might be starting to feel. So whenever we have, for me personally, it's a huge time when we have the Gemini full moon. It's always been really important in terms of coming to the end of the year and releasing a lot of whatever's come up for you and things that need to be cleared away. The mutability is change. It's the ability to let go. It's the ability to release. It's the ability to be mutable and be open to new experiences. And that is such a fundamental part of manifestation, of thinking about the year to come, like coming into 2024. And I do want to share today only, I have 35% off of year ahead readings, which are tarot and deep dive astrology readings with me. They're pretty lengthy. They take me a bit of time, and they are 35% off today for Small Business Saturday. And the link is in my story. So if you're interested in that, definitely jump into that, because time and time again, I hear how amazing those readings are for people and how it's a guide point to look forward to the next year and to kind of come back to as the year unfolds. And I love doing them, so I'm definitely excited to offer those at a special rate for Small Business Saturday. And thank you for all of your support. So let's talk about the energy of Gemini. Let's talk about the energy of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius we just moved into Sagittarius season. It is a very expansive time. It's a time of opening to new horizons, opening to new adventure. It is about like expanding the mind, expanding consciousness, and it's a very exciting time. And so if you're feeling coming out of this fall, we've had a really intense fall for a lot of different reasons, coming out of a lot of different retrogrades. Saturn is now direct, which in my opinion, when Saturn is retrograde, we get a little break from Saturnian energy, or it's perceived differently. So it's not that we're in like a totally carefree time. It's just that a lot of different opportunities might start to unfold for you, or just in your own mind, you start to look at things different or see things different. And it's a very exciting time to pay attention to different opportunities in your life that maybe have been there, but you saw them differently. And now is the time to jump into those opportunities. And so Sagittarius season is very welcome for a lot of different reasons and for a lot of different people after we go through the depth of Scorpio time. And so Sagittarius time is from now until the solstice. So we really want to use this opportunity to see things different, to open to new experiences. It's a very rich manifestation time. So definitely kind of consider that when you're thinking about Sagittarius season. And then when we have the full moon in Gemini energy is a lot about the way we process things. It's ruled by Mercury. Different ways of processing information or communicating with people or communicating with yourself. And so when we have the full moon, this lunation is an opportunity to look back at the Gemini new moon that we had in the springtime and see how far you've come, see what came up for you. If you don't already have, my planner's not here right now. If you don't already have the 2024 planner, definitely check that out, because if you had the 2023 planner, you can look back to that and see what intentions you were setting last spring and what you've learned since then. It's really a time for reviewing and illuminating different lessons, different things that came through since the spring for you to release, for you to clear out, for you to start fresh and start new. Now, because this full moon that's happening early Monday morning, so it's really like tomorrow, we're in this energy. Tomorrow is Sunday, so whenever you're watching this, we're talking about Sunday to Monday. We'll be in this energy. We want to look at 4 degrees. So wherever 4 degrees is in your chart of all the mutable signs, because we have that full moon illuminating the Gemini Sagittarius axis. But then we have a T-square almost exactly to Saturn. Saturn is in, let's see, since I said it's almost exact, I should know. Oh my gosh, guys, the eyes and the small print. Okay, so 4 degrees off. So Saturn is at 0 degrees of Pisces because Saturn has just gone direct. So Saturn is now gone direct, and it's going back over the territory that it already went through when we're looking at the time period. So we know that Saturn ingressed into Pisces from March 7th. So again, it's bringing back up things from the spring. And at that time, we had 0 degrees of Pisces, Saturn in 0 degrees of Pisces. So we're back to that point, and we're back to that point reviewing, looking at all these things very mercurial with a T-square to the full moon in Gemini. So we're really reviewing a lot of things. We're resynthesizing some things that came up since March of last year. And it's really important to understand kind of where this is happening in your chart. So knowing where Saturn is. And like I said, I have a great house by house. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out my Saturn house by house, because it'll go over all of the things about this process of Saturn and Pisces, but also for you personally, that house where that is. And that is just on my YouTube. It's also probably here buried somewhere on Instagram if you want to dig. So Meredith says, I remember you did my solar return for me, and that Saturn keeps grinding at my 29 degrees south node in Aquarius. Yeah. So yeah, it's really intense. If you have planets or placements around that point, it's really intense. We have a lot of, we kind of are coming out of this, but we are still in it, of a lot of different things at like that 29 degrees, 0 degree, 1st degree of the signs. We have Pluto doing that dance, and we have Saturn doing that dance, and it's super uncomfortable. Both Pluto and Saturn are very uncomfortable energies to work with. So just be aware and give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, because we're really in a lot of different ways going through kind of this grinding energy. And with that being said, so this full moon creates that T-square to Saturn. Saturn in Pisces is about trying to make form from the formless. It's really intense energy. Again, check out my house by house if you want more on that. And the other thing about that is it creates, we always want to look to the invisible leg with a T-square, especially a full moon T-square. We want to look at that invisible leg, and where that invisible leg points to is the first few degrees of Virgo. So if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, or you resonate with that Virgo energy, really lean into that. So when we say lean into that Virgo energy at this full moon, taking care of your body, taking care of your home, taking care of yourself, taking care of your pets and your plants, making all those herbal infusions, doing the things that really ground you, because this energy is really intense. And it's likely because we know that the Gemini Sagittarius axis point really highlights like Sagittarius is like the world and politics and like systems and things like that around politics. So definitely there's likely to be some stir up around that. We know that different things are happening in our world that are really uncomfortable. And Gemini is like how we personalize that, or how we interpret that for ourselves and for our community and for our neighborhood, and like how we get into, you know, political disagreements or different disagreements about what's happening in the world with the people closest to us. And so, I mean, we just got out of a holiday season, people being around their family or even just communicating with their family. And what's important to remember about that is that we can get into disagreements about things, and it's important to like own your truth. But ultimately, when we look at that Pisces, Virgo, also that access point that's being lit up, it's really about tending to yourself and taking care of yourself. And whatever you need to do personally to take care of yourself while a lot of things that might feel out of your control are happening, or uncomfortable things being talked about or stirred up in the collective. So really tending to yourself, tending to your body, your mind, your spirit at this time is the most important. Okay, so that is what's happening with the T-square for this full moon. I also wanted to talk about the fact that both Mars and Ceres are conjunct the sun, and the sun is our conscious awareness. So right now our conscious awareness is set to being aware of Ceres, Demeter, who, if you have ever followed and watched any of my videos about Ceres or have done feminine leadership with me before, Ceres is about abundance and loss, both about the process of becoming a mother. It's like you gain something and you lose something. And this also has to do with agriculture. This has to do with our feelings of abundance in our own lives, and having enough to eat, having enough to share, sometimes having access, sometimes having not enough. And when we have Ceres lit up at the full moon close to the sun, our conscious awareness is really set to abundance and loss. Now, that paired with the god of war, Mars, being conjunct Ceres, really has to do with where you're being driven, or where your consciousness is being driven, or your body's being driven in terms of opportunities, in terms of cutting your losses, opening to receiving more. I talked about in the beginning of this video how it's really about manifestation. And, you know, with Mars and Ceres together there, it's a really push-pull energy, and it's a really important to come back to that Virgo place, and at the same time recognize that things are coming up and things are coming through to be cleared out. And so past grief, past loss, fear of future loss, fear of future grief, it's really important to catch yourself and call yourself back to the present moment while acknowledging your feelings, while acknowledging your grief, while acknowledging your fear, and really be with what's present in the here and now, as opposed to kind of being pulled into different places. And within that is a lot of opportunity for gratitude and appreciation, because right in this moment, if I'm guessing if you're watching this, you have things to be grateful for. Right in this moment, you have things that are in your awareness that are working out for you. And it's really important to pay attention to those things, because our brain tends to focus on the negative. That's just how it works. And there's a lot of negativity going on, and a lot of different aggression type energies in our awareness. So really important to pay attention to gratitude. The other things that are happening is that Mercury is squaring Neptune. This won't be exact for a bit of time, but we're moving into this energy. And when Mercury squares Neptune, again, there is a lot of confusion in the collective. I talked about the collective with Sagittarius energy. And then when we have Mercury and Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces, it's a lot of confusion, it's a lot of delusion, and it's a lot of really, I wouldn't say agitated energy, but energy that is confusing to the point where it's you're unsure of things. And so it's really important to kind of come back to your body, come back to the present, because there is a lot of confusion in the collective, and there will be more in December. So we also have the South Node conjunct Venus. If you're having past relationship things come through, that's very much South Node in conjunct Venus. And again, this is going to be exact in the next few days, but it's around the time of this full moon. So I wanted to talk about it because if you're dreaming about past relationships or having experiences like really old stuff coming up around relating and around desires and around connection and around love and, how you connect to others, that is very much the South Node in conjunct Venus. And just to acknowledge it, like if things are coming through, what's coming through for you to process, what's coming through for you to heal. And it might be a good time to work with me. So definitely reach out if you're interested in that. The other thing that will be happening more towards January, I think it's February actually that it's exact, but it's starting to happen now, is the North Node conjunct Chiron, which is really intense. I'm not going to talk about it in depth here, but I will be talking about it more, and it's really more going to affect you more if you have planets or placements in the midpoint or like the 15 to 18 degree point of Aries. Okay, so if you have things there, definitely pay attention because you're probably going to be feeling that more. And Chiron is the wounded healer. So, a lot of these things are happening for us to create a healing experience. And ultimately, we can't get to that healing if we aren't open to surrender, aren't open to releasing past beliefs. There's a lot around needing to be like the trees and release and let go and open to new possibility and rest and rejuvenate and dream again. And this is this time, every year at this time, this is what's most important, is for us to release, surrender, open to possibility, and to rest. And for some of us, it's easier than others. And just acknowledging that and having compassion for yourself is really important. If you are interested in working together and you don't quite know what might be right for you at this time, definitely reach out. You can message me here, or you can reach out on my website. It's just abigailbarella.com. I hope you all take good care of yourselves and have a happy full moon. Watch out for disagreements or co-creation stuff. Definitely take care of yourself first, and maybe come at those conversations a little bit later in the week. Take good care. Bye-bye.